A Journey of the Heart. Elizabeth Anderson awoke to the gentle hum of an early summer morning in the small town of Maple Ridge. At 42, she had learned that life was an intricate tapestry of joy and sorrow, friendship and loss, and that every new day was an opportunity for personal growth. Maple Ridge, with its tree-lined streets and close-knit community, breathed a familiar warmth into her heart, a quiet promise that no matter how stormy the past, the future could hold unexpected hope. In the soft glow of dawn, Elizabeth prepared her modest breakfast in a sunlit kitchen, her mind wandering back to a time when love and passion lit her soul like a wild flame. Now, as the years had passed and responsibility weighed upon her shoulders, she found solace in small miracles. The aroma of freshly baked bread from the corner bakery, the friendly smile of Mr. Jacobs as he walked his dog along Main Street, and the memory of her mother's gentle guidance when life seemed an endless maze. As she sipped her coffee, a knock at the door broke the silence. Standing on the threshold was her dear friend Catherine Miller, whose lively eyes and ready laughter had been a constant source of strength through the ups and downs of life. "Liz, you won't believe who's in town," Catherine announced, her voice bursting with excitement. "Michael Turner is back after all these years. He's come to reclaim a piece of the past." Elizabeth's heart fluttered with both apprehension and curiosity. Michael Turner had once been the love of her life, a man of gentle humor and deep passion, and though their lives had diverged long ago, the echo of their connection still resonated within her soul. "Michael," she whispered, feeling the ghosts of yesterday stir inside her. "I haven't seen him since the summer of '72, with Catherine's encouragement, Elizabeth set out to meet the man who had inspired so many of her dreams. The town's main street was already buzzing with activity, and soon she found herself drifting into the familiar embrace of Maple Ridge's community spirit. The summer air was warm and inviting, and every face she passed bore the marks of enduring kindness and understanding. At the town's old gazebo, a meeting place for neighbors and friends alike, Elizabeth finally spotted Michael. Lean and dignified, with salt and pepper hair and eyes that still twinkled with life, he greeted her with a hesitant smile. "Elizabeth," he said softly, his voice carrying the weight of years and memories. "I never thought I would see you again." For a long moment, they simply stood there, two souls rediscovering one another. "Neither did I, Michael," Elizabeth replied, her voice trembling with a mixture of nostalgia and wonder. In that quiet exchange, the decades melted away, leaving behind only the honest, unguarded feelings of two people who had once loved deeply. Their reunion sparked an unexpected journey, a rediscovery of lost hopes and the rekindling of a love that had never truly faded. Over the next several weeks, Elizabeth and Michael strolled together through Maple Ridge's familiar avenues, revisiting cherished spots from their youth and creating new memories in places they had never imagined. They lingered over coffee at the town diner, where Michael told her stories of his travels, and Catherine, who sat nearby, smiled knowingly as if to say that love always finds a way back to its rightful home. In quiet moments, Elizabeth recalled the difficulties she had once faced: loneliness, independence forged in the fires of heartache, and the relentless passing of time. Yet here, amid the gentle rhythms of Maple Ridge, she began to understand that every step, every struggle, was a vital part of her journey toward healing. "I used to believe that my happiness depended on a single love," she confided one sunny afternoon as they walked along the river, "but I now see that true contentment comes from learning to love yourself and cherishing the everyday beauty around you." Michael listened intently, his hand loosely brushing hers as they walked. "I've traveled far and wide," he admitted, "but never have I found the kind of peace I feel now, simply by being near you and in a town that reminds me of home." His words were filled with a tender earnestness that touched Elizabeth's heart, inviting her to believe in new beginnings and the promise of redemption after even the deepest of sorrows. Late one golden afternoon, Elizabeth sat on the weathered bench by the town square, memories swirling like leaves caught in a quiet breeze. She recalled childhood laughter, the bittersweet farewell to her first love, and the long nights spent wondering if future happiness was an elusive dream. The comforting familiarity of Maple Ridge, with its strong community and shared history, had given her the courage she needed to let go of old regrets and open her heart once more. It was during these reflective moments that Elizabeth's closest friend, Jonathan Reed, arrived. Jonathan had been a steadfast pillar of support, a confidant who never wavered in his belief that everyone deserved a second chance at happiness. "Liz," he said, settling beside her with a warm smile, "sometimes what we need most in life is the support that only true friendship can offer. You've always been so kind and generous, let others now be the ones to help you heal." His words, simple yet profound, echoed in her heart. Over many evenings they would share long conversations about dreams deferred and fulfilled, about the scars that made them who they were, and about a future painted in hues of hope and possibility. Elizabeth began to understand that her past, with all its pain and beauty, was not a chain that held her back but rather stepping stones toward the person she was meant to become. In the midst of these transformative days, the town of Maple Ridge too revealed its secrets. Neighbors gathered in the community hall for potluck dinners where laughter filled the air, and impromptu song sessions by the old oak tree brought everyone together in moments of shared vulnerability. Elizabeth found herself not only reconnecting with Michael but also forging new bonds with people who had long watched her from afar, admiring the quiet strength of her spirit. One cool evening, as twilight draped the town in soft shadows, Elizabeth and Michael found refuge in the old art studio on the edge of town, a place where once, in the flush of youthful passion, they had dreamed up bright futures and whispered promises of forever. In that sacred space filled with canvases and the scent of turpentine, they rediscovered not only their shared past but also the beauty of embracing imperfection. "We are a work in progress," Michael murmured, gesturing to a half-finished painting on an easel. "Every brush stroke, every mistake, adds to the masterpiece of our lives." As the days turned into weeks, the gentle cadence of life in Maple Ridge nurtured Elizabeth's long-hidden vulnerabilities. She began to share her own creative passions, writing letters to old friends, crafting poems that captured the tender intricacies of love, and in doing so, learned that vulnerability was not synonymous with weakness but rather the very essence of humanity. One crisp Saturday morning, while strolling along the town's winding creek, Elizabeth met Daniel Collins, a kindly librarian with an infectious smile and an uncanny ability to find beauty in the mundane. Daniel, much like her, had known loss and hardship, yet his optimism lit up every corner of his existence. "There's magic in the everyday, Liz," he said as they paused near a cascade of sparkling water. "Every moment is a chance to begin again, to find joy in the simplest things." In Daniel's gentle presence, Elizabeth felt a profound kinship. Their conversations meandered from philosophy to the latest town gossip, and she discovered new layers of herself that had been dormant for too long. With Michael now a precious part of her revived days, Daniel's friendship offered a different kind of solace, a reminder that companionship and support come in many forms, and that one need not search for perfection to find fulfillment. Yet, as the warmth of summer slowly yielded to the crisp embrace of autumn, Elizabeth was forced to confront the shadows of old memories and the lingering pang of loss. One quiet evening, as rain tapped softly on the window panes of her cozy home, she found herself writing in her journal, a habit that had once brought her immeasurable comfort. With each careful stroke of her pen, she poured out years of regret, hope, and quiet acceptance. "I have lost so much," she wrote, "but in every ending, there is the promise of a new beginning. I am learning to let go of what was, and in doing so, I free myself to embrace what can be." In the shadows of that rainy night, a letter arrived from Michael. In it, he confessed that his return was driven by a desperate need to make amends for the mistakes of their shared past, to reclaim a love that had once burned bright and to honor the memories that made them who they were. "Liz, I realize now that every moment without you was a moment wasted. I have traveled far and long, but it is here, in the quiet corners of Maple Ridge, that I feel whole again. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me, and perhaps, to begin a new chapter together." Elizabeth felt tears welling in her eyes as she read his words, for they echoed the unspoken truths of her own heart. The journey of healing was never linear, and while forgiveness was often a slow and challenging process, she felt ready to take that step forward with Michael by her side. In the tender aftermath of that rainy evening, She reached out to him and slowly began the delicate art of mending broken bridges. As autumn deepened and the leaves turned vibrant shades of amber and gold, Maple Ridge prepared for its annual harvest festival, a time when neighbors gathered to celebrate community, abundance, and the simple beauty of life. Elizabeth and Michael, now firmly entwined in the fabric of each other's lives once again, dedicated themselves to the festival with a passion that surprised even them. Together they organized events that brought laughter to every corner of town, from the pumpkin-picking contests to the cozy bonfires that scattered starlight over dark fields. Amid the festivities, Elizabeth discovered a reservoir of inner strength and purpose that had lain dormant for far too long. Every smiling face, every heartfelt conversation, reaffirmed her belief that true love was not confined solely to romance. It flourished in deep friendships, in the gentle kindness extended to strangers, and in the quiet courage of daily life. "We are all more alike than we think," she remarked to Catherine one evening as they carefully arranged a table adorned with autumnal blooms. "Our joys and sorrows weave together to create the tapestry of our community, and in that tapestry, each thread is essential." Michael, watching her interact with friends and neighbors, felt a swell of admiration. "Liz," he said quietly as they walked home beneath a sky lit by the soft glow of street lamps, "you have transformed your pain into a source of incredible strength and beauty. I am honored to share in your journey." In the weeks that followed the harvest festival, Elizabeth and Michael spent long hours talking about dreams, regrets, and all that lay between. Their conversations were genuine and raw-filled. With laughter, the occasional quiet tear, and the unmistakable thrill of rediscovering a connection that time had only deepened. Elizabeth confessed that she had long feared that her best days were behind her. "I once believed that my heart had nothing more to offer," she admitted one breezy evening by the lake. "But now I see that every wrinkle, every scar, is a testament to a life fully lived, and that gives me strength to love again." Michael's reply was soft, sincere. "You are every bit as radiant now as you were in your youth, Liz. Life has taught us many lessons, and those lessons have only made our love more cherished and our friendship richer." It was in the gentle moments of reconciliation with old regrets, with the regrets of lost time, that Elizabeth truly began to blossom. She dedicated herself to helping others find their way, joining local volunteer efforts and mentoring young women who found themselves at the crossroads of life. In the laughter shared over simple meals and the quiet support offered during times of hardship, Elizabeth discovered that personal growth was not measured by grand gestures but by the humble, persistent act of caring. As winter hinted at its arrival with occasional frosts on the window, the town of Maple Ridge gathered one final time before the new year for a communal celebration of hope. In the softly lit community hall, where music mingled with gentle conversation, Elizabeth stepped forward to share a few heartfelt words. "We are all travelers on this journey of life," she said, her eyes sweeping across the familiar faces before her. "In every goodbye, there is the promise of a new hello, and in every ending lies the seed of a fresh beginning. Let us cherish the moments we have and embrace the unknown with an open heart." In that moment, the room fell silent except for the quiet murmur of renewed hope. Faces once lined with sorrow now shone with the light of possibility. Michael reached out and took Elizabeth's hand, a simple gesture that spoke of countless unspoken promises. Their intertwined fingers were a testament not only to rediscovered love, but also to a deeper understanding of life's intricate beauty, a reminder that, come what may, the heart always finds a way. In the days and months that followed, as the snow quietly blanketed Maple Ridge and gave way to the first buds of spring, Elizabeth continued her journey of personal growth. New friendships blossomed, old wounds healed slowly beneath warm smiles and gentle assurances, and every day became a tribute to resilience and transformation. She learned that forgiveness of oneself and others was the foundation upon which love could flourish again. One crisp morning, while tending to a small garden outside her home, a project that had come to symbolize her own careful nurturing of life, Elizabeth paused to admire the delicate shoots emerging from the soil. In that quiet act of creation, she saw the reflection of her own spirit. Fragile yet determined, modest yet magnificent. Just as these flowers find the strength to bloom after the harshest winter, so too can we rise anew, No matter how many times we have been battered by life, she whispered, a soft smile gracing her lips. And so, in the gentle cadence of Maple Ridge's daily rhythms, Elizabeth Anderson discovered the true meaning of love and friendship, a realization that transcended the bounds of romance and embraced the entire spectrum of human connection. She came to understand that every heartbreak, every triumph, and every quiet moment of introspection was a chapter in the epic story of her life, a story written with the ink of resilience, hope, and undying compassion. In this small American town, where every home held a secret and every neighbor shared a smile, Elizabeth found that life was not defined by the brevity of passion alone, but by the enduring, quiet acts of kindness that bound human hearts together. Her journey of the heart had led her to realize that even in the wake of sorrow, there exists a light, a promise that our lives, no matter how tempered by loss, are also capable of tremendous beauty and redemption. As she gazed out at a horizon gilded with the soft hues of a new dawn, Elizabeth knew without a doubt that she had come home, and that in every beat of her heart, in every gentle gesture and every shared smile, a new chapter was waiting to be written. The echoes of the past mingled with the vibrant aspirations of tomorrow, forming a legacy of love that would guide her steps through every season of life. And so, with Michael's steady hand in hers and the unwavering support of friends like Catherine, Jonathan, and Daniel, Elizabeth embraced each new day as a precious gift. In the quiet simplicity of Maple Ridge, she had found the answers to questions she had long dared not ask, that amidst the unpredictable turns of fate, there was always beauty to be discovered, always hope to be nurtured, and always, always love to be shared. In that timeless understanding, the journey of the heart continued. It was a story of resilience, transformation, and the gentle power of rediscovered dreams, a story that was not measured merely by the passing of time but by the courage to keep loving, keep forgiving, and keep believing that every ending is but the prelude to a new beginning. Elizabeth's life in Maple Ridge had become a living testament to this truth, and as she stepped forward into the unfolding mystery of each new day, her heart sang a quiet tune, a lullaby of hope, of friendship, and of the everlasting promise that love, in all its myriad forms, would always find a way. And so, beneath a vast sky of ever-changing shades, her journey continued, a continuous, heartfelt narrative etched into the soul of a small town, where every whispered secret, every shared tear, and every burst of laughter wove together the enduring tapestry of a life reborn.